Alright, the Aquaponic 55-gallon tank update. This is probably a year later, but it works really good. Growing this basil here. This basil's been in there for probably a year and a half, or a year at least. I just stuck the 4-inch pot of basil I got from a friend right on top here, and it's just completely rooted out in there. Just keeps going and going and going. It's good basil. The fish love to eat it too. They really freak out when I put it in there. Just use it to sprout different things. This is a daikon radish. I just grow this because it's pretty much like a weed here, and the leaves are good for the fish. I give the leaves the fish, and they like that a lot. Use it to sprout out little things. Just threw some turmeric in here. It's got a nice big old leaf on it now. The other ones are starting to do it. Just sprout them out. This is good for just throwing stuff on and sprouting it. Do little seeds and stuff. This is an onion. This is just it's hard to see, but this is pretty cool. This is just the bottom of an onion, just a very little root part you would cut off. And it sprouted a bunch of roots. And now it's got the top going. The whole thing is just regenerating from not even a quarter-inch, a sliver of the bottom of an onion. That's pretty rad. It's a little baby onion that I'm rooting back out. It's starting to get a little sprouter on her. Some trippy trees I'm trying to root. They just kind of stay in limbo there, but yeah. Got this cool orchid. This is this orchid I found up in the West Maui's. It's pretty wild. It blooms on the Hawaiian New Year, which is pretty fucking insane. Colombian or Cuban oregano. It's pretty cool. It's growing in there too. It's just growing all the way. Kind of train it around the top here. Looks nice and it's delicious. But yeah, I never change the water in this. I just keep topping it off. This worm bin or this cinder bed is full of the composting, the red wigglers. They can survive underwater, I find. So this thing is just absolutely packed full of them. If you would put a cup of peat on here for a few days, the peat would get wet and they would all crawl up into it, and your 4-inch pot of peat would just be solid worms. It's pretty wild. I do that to get them out there and put them in other places. But here's the fish. It's a little more murky than it usually is. The pump was off all night. But it stays pretty clear. There's some algae on the window, but not too bad. It kind of has this weird yellow tint. I think that's from the worm castings. But everybody seems real happy. No fish die. Everybody's growing good. The turtles seem to be pretty stoked. Getting bigger and bigger. I got gravel on the bottom, and that's actually full of worms too. If you dig around in there. And the fish can get that too. It's like just cinder in the bottom. It's hard to see, but I got there's a bunch of freshwater clams in here too, like these little mini clams. The turtles get them every once in a while, but they kind of breed like crazy. The cinder bed's full of those things too. It's got them from a buddy out of the river. But yeah, update. With your aquaponics, you want to make sure all your fish muck is going into your cinder bed. Is what I found. If it's going up to like a top pond or another reservoir and not getting that muck to the cinder bed, then it doesn't work nearly as well. You want that muck in the cinder bed to be able to break down. And the red wriggler worms really help with that. But yeah, just keeps circulating, grown basil for years and oregano for a long time, and it's kind of cool looking. And it's just a little fun tray to sprout stuff on too. So yeah, it works really good. I'm pretty stoked with it. It's probably the most functioning aquaponic system I've ever made. But yeah, I hope this was informative.